Okay, welcome back. We started dismantling this furnace here last video in part 1. Now part 2 here, we're going to put it back together. We got all the ordered up the parts, and all the new parts came in. We ordered in ourselves a new igniter. There's our new igniter. There's our new burner tube. The end of that one was all burnt out. The crimp on it was all opened up. And we got a brand new motor as well. The motor wasn't really needed, but since we were already in here and replacing all this stuff, the customer decided it probably be best that we replace that as well. And we got a new sail switch here as well. Okay, so the first thing we're going to start doing is we're going to start putting back in our burner. So we'll get it positioned in there. So you got the two holes down there that we got to line up. Okay. So we got those in there. And we are going to have to bend that bracket forward just a little bit to line up our holes here. So we may end up taking those. Yeah, we're going to have to take those screws out of there again. Now that we see how much we have to manipulate it. Okay, so we didn't have to go very far. Let's see how well that lines up now. That's pretty good there now. We should be able to make that work. There, now the holes are all lining up. Okay. There we go. Okay, next, so when you get your new igniter or electrode, it comes with two more of these. Two brand new rubber grommets that go in there. One goes in this hole right here inside the heat exchanger. The other one I've already put in here. And then these go down on top of here. See if this one wants to go in there easier. Looks like they built the burner tube, because it is an older furnace. The burner tube is built just a little bit different. So we're going to have to make a slight modification so that this will sit down in here. And that'll work now. That'll work. Okay, so put these two screws here. That'll hold our burner down. We can put this down here. We're just going to leave that loose until we have our other one, which conveniently fell down here.
Nice.
Yeah. Okay. So now loosen that one off just a little bit. And we slide our igniter underneath there. I'd like that a little further under there. There we go. Okay, I don't tighten it right down yet. You're going to have to kind of adjust it a little bit. And now we'll see how it sits here. Okay. Where did I set that now? Okay, so you want to make sure that that electrode, so we're going to bring it back this way just a little. We're going to bend it just a little bit. Back this way here. There. Okay, so you want about 1/8 of an inch gap between the tip of the electrode and the burner, and then you want to kind of have it kind of in between all the holes. You don't want it sparking directly over top of a hole or the gap starts to get bigger. So it looks pretty good down inside there right now. There we go. Now feed this. Over there. I'll stop being down here now. There. So you have to feed it you bring the end of the electrode through, and then you take this and it feeds back through the grommet. Here, I was trying to feed it through first, which I know better, but and then we poke it back through the hole here once I put the grommet in. But first thing I'm going to do here is now we have our little metal clip that was holding these two together. Put that on. And now we can tighten both of our screws up here. There we go. Double check the electrode one more time that you're happy with it. And now we take our little grommet here. This isn't always fun to do. Let's try and do it from this side. As my wife tries to find a way to get a shot of it while I got my fingers in the way. And there we go. Now we poke it through there. And tighten those. There we go. All the fun you can have. So now you can see how that goes through there. Your little metal guide, your electrode comes through, then it comes back through the first grommet, back around through that grommet and out. Okay, so now take this here. I should do that. Quickly while we got it apart here.
Such a waste.
There we go. Okay.
It's not a tuba.
No, it is not a tuba. Whatever little pieces of this gasket material, don't get too concerned about the gasket material. It's not a deal breaker if it's not on there. So I don't put any of those screws back in there until I have this little jam nut. So we have the nut done up back into the gas valve, just so we have some movement on it. We can wiggle it around and manipulate it into place, because as you can see, it's kind of out of place right now. There we go. Okay, once we have it started, we will put a little nut back on the end here. That's an 11/32. Or if you really want, you can just use a pair of pliers. They're never on there that tight. Okay, and then we have our little collection of screws here. These are the shortest Phillips screws. I try and do my corners first, just to kind of get it all down evenly. There we go. Now we can tighten up this. As I said before, if you have your combustion air and all these the housing on here and the housing on here, you have to use a crow's foot to get to this. But being that we've got everything off, there we have it. I need that one there. Okay, so there's the back to our combustion air. It goes on. And then it's the 4 longest screws that hold that down in there. And we'll crisscross this again just to make sure that it gets put on there. Careful when you're using a drill that you don't over tighten these and crack the plastic. They are just a plastic housing and they will crack. So you don't want to over tighten everything and then you'll get a split down here inside there and then you end up having to buy that. Here's our combustion air wheel. Here's our new motor. So there's a flat spot inside there. There's a flat spot on the shaft. Let's see how far down do they have that. Okay, I left about that. So if you look on the old motor, you can see the polished part of the shaft, and then you can see where the rust was and where the rust was. Try and get the combustion wheel kind of back on with the same type of tolerances so that you don't have it, so you don't end up having to move it around after you put it on. So if you just kind of adjust it as per kind of how it was on there. And don't forget to put your clamp back on. It don't have a specific way. And then you're going to be using a 9/64 Allen key to put it on. There we go. There's our combustion air. Okay, so you got these longer bolts sticking out here. It sits down into that little cradle right there. So you have to get around this little screw here, dog around it, put it down again, and then you see we've just give it a spin with it in there. Make sure it's not going to rub or hit on anything or get close. And it looks okay. Okay, and then you got your 2 rubber blocks that sit in here that stop the motor, and those are also kind of pillows to take up vibration and movement and stuff like that. Okay. Next, we'll put on the other half of the combustion air wheel. So both your wires come up through that hole there. Again, you have the same type of cradle that's inside of here, which goes over top of those. Thank you. Okay, I'm going to put all of our little screws back into our to the combustion housing. Again, I like to do kind of corner to corner so that it pulls it down kind of evenly. Give it another spin, make sure it's not rubbing on anything in there. There we have it. So they always take this one here and they have it pulled down over and around the gas valve, and then it's on this common ground block right here. There you go. And then the red wire stays up and it goes across your board. All right. Now, next thing we'll sneak on here is okay, so now we'll put on our cabin air housing. Okay, so we're done with our old motor now. Go over in the pile. Again. So here's our cabin air wheel, and then inside here
Cabin arrow.
There's a flat spot on the shaft again.
Like the pasta.
Just like the pasta. And then there's a set screw in here, a little Allen screw. That's 1/8 of an inch. So I keep my, there's a hole in here to be able to slide in and loosen off that, see that little opening right there. So I keep the shaft and everything kind of straight up and down. And we slide it on, and we want it kind of about right there. So we have, you can kind of stick your fingers around the other side here to where you have it kind of evenly spaced on both sides, kind of one of my finger widths on each side. And then tighten it down. I can put a pair of pliers on the Allen just to give it a little bit of a bump. So it comes. That's a 1/8 Allen key. Okay, we'll give it another spin. Not rubbing, hitting, bumping on anything. Last but not least, our sail switch. So this one's got a little bit bigger tab on it, which I don't believe it's going to hit the wheel. No, it's not going to. So the little bit bigger tab, it's going to catch a little bit more air and hold it up a little bit better. Don't forget our little paper spacer. Go in and twist. And these are the little tiny machine screws. Alright, so that sail switch is gonna so what I do in this case here is we just take a look at it and see here. Okay. Sail switch is a sail switch. They just make some of them a little bit bigger. So because that won't fit in there without getting any, without binding on stuff, we will take care of that. There, that's better. Okay. Not in the easiest spot to get to. A little bit of time and a little bit of patience, you'll get it. Yeah. Yeah, right. Little tiny machine screw, and then it wants to cross thread, so. Alright, let's take that over there and make sure that it hasn't. Yeah, that's what's going on. Okay. It's got a little cross thread in it or something already. Okay, that's what we're fighting with. So it's not just me. Alright. Now that we're done with that, the nut on the back is a quarter inch nut. And that isn't going to do us any good at all, because all it did was take the nut off for us, or the nut fell off again. Oh, look at that. This is going to prove to be the most difficult part of this entire job. Oh, look at that. And guess what? It works. Alright, well, there we go. I hope you all enjoyed that. I know my wife did. She thoroughly enjoyed that.
So many jokes I could crack there on.
There we go. That one's tightened up.
It's close up. Should have started with that one first.
Huh?
Should have started with that one first.
Yeah. Oh, sometimes you don't know these things. Okay, everything moves good there. So now we start connecting our wires again. So we have our brown wire here. And where's our other? So you got red. Doesn't matter whether they go on the top or the bottom, it's just whatever it fits onto the best. We'll put red on the bottom because it fits on there tight. And this brown one, we're going to give it a bit of a squeeze. When you're doing this, don't squeeze it too much or it won't fit on the spade at all. So again, I've done videos on the sequence of events before, but never on a Suburban. Suburban Atwood, they all have the same kind of sequence of events. Your thermostat turns on, it sends power to kick the fan on, kicks the fan on, and it puts signal voltage down here, which then goes into here. Your blower wheel kicks on, closes the sail switch, and from the sail switch it sends the power back down through this brown wire here, which then goes to your high limit switch, which is on the back of these right here, through the high limit switch, back up, and through and to the other side of your from your white wire right here, back into the blue wire right here, which then sends the signal voltage to the board, which tells it that, okay, the fan is running, the limit switch is good, we're good to ignite. And then it opens up the gas valve and starts the igniter. So that is the sequence of events for that. Okay, so we're done with our old sail switch. Put it down there. Put our little trim ring back on here. Having fun? Okay,
Trim amounts.
so there's our trim ring. Now we'll grab our board.
This is my dream job.
High tension wire or igniter, whatever you want to call it. Plugs in there. Then to the blower. I'm gonna lose that furnace yet. It's all top heavy. Right. Now just leave it up against me here. So there's our power wires that go on there. I'm gonna have to get a new spade. This one here is broken off on there, so I'll have to go get a new blue spade from the van. But I can do that after here once we... So your power wire connects, your main power coming in from the unit connects to there. Your blower connects to there, it's the bigger spade of the two. Okay. And then you have your main plug it in. Get all the wires organized here.
bird nest.
Nope, no more bird's nest in there. This furnace will run better than it ever did. We'll put our 2 screws back in here. Okay, now you have all that. So, oh, pay attention where I got stuck around here. Okay. So what I like to kind of do when I'm stuffing it back in the case is I'll tuck all these wires right here. You have your power, your ground, and your 2 thermostat wires, and I tuck them back into there. So when I'm sticking it back into the case, it doesn't get in the way. Let's lay that down. Grab our case. Okay, so this is the back end of the furnace. So it goes in blower motor down. These things will come out usually. I'll take all these things out. These are just blanks. You can put those back in after, but what those will do is they have little ridges on them and they'll get caught as you're sliding it in. That's how we bent this, taking it out. I want to make sure all of our wires are kind of going in there. This case is really misshapen, so there you go, and then you line up right there and put your screw back in. There we have one completely tore down, rebuilt furnace. So, hope you guys enjoyed. Like, subscribe, comment. Alright, thanks.